Imagine waking up every day with the certainty that prosperity and peace are within your reach. This is not about fantasy or empty positive thinking, but a reality grounded in ancient principles that continue to transform lives to this day. Psalm 112 offers us exactly that, a detailed map for building a full, prosperous life filled with inner peace. When we talk about starting the day with prosperity and peace, we're not referring only to material success or the absence of problems. We're talking about a deep state of mind, a way of living that attracts abundance in all areas of life and keeps us balanced even in the face of the most intense storms. Psalm 112 is much more than an ancient text. It's a practical guide for modern life, offering timeless wisdom on how to build a truly prosperous existence. Its words carry the power to transform not only our mornings, but our entire life trajectory. Hallelujah! Blessed is the man who fears the Lord and greatly delights in his commandments. Thus begins this powerful psalm, immediately establishing the foundation of all true prosperity, reverent fear of the divine and pleasure in following elevated principles. The term blessed here doesn't simply mean happy in the superficial sense of the word. It refers to a state of completeness, of deep fulfillment that transcends momentary circumstances. It's happiness that comes from within outward, not dependent on external factors, but rooted in conscious choices and solid values. When the psalm speaks of fearing the Lord, it's not about fear in the sense of terror, but of reverence, deep respect and recognition of something greater than ourselves. It's the humility of understanding that there are universal principles that, when followed, lead us to genuine prosperity. The great delight in his commandments reveals a crucial aspect. True prosperity doesn't come from reluctant compliance with rules, but from genuine pleasure in living according to elevated principles. When we find joy in doing what is right, just and good, we are on the path to authentic prosperity. His descendants will be mighty in the land, the generation of the upright will be blessed. This promise from Psalm 112 reveals a profound truth about prosperity. It's not only individual but has a generational impact. When we build our lives on solid foundations, we create a legacy that benefits not only us, but also those who come after. The mighty descendants mentioned here doesn't necessarily refer to power in the political or military sense, but to the power that comes from integrity, solid character, and applied wisdom. It's the power to influence positively, to be a force for good in the world, to leave things better than we found them. True prosperity always thinks long-term. It doesn't seek only immediate benefits but builds something lasting. When we start our day with this perspective, we make different decisions. We prioritize relationships, invest in our personal growth, act with integrity even when no one is looking. This generational mentality protects us from the traps of immediacy. In a world that constantly pressures for quick results and instant satisfaction, Psalm 112 reminds us that real prosperity is built brick by brick, day after day, through consistent choices aligned with elevated principles. Wealth and riches are in his house, and his righteousness endures forever. Here we find one of the most misinterpreted verses of Psalm 112. Many see only the promise of material wealth, but miss the crucial connection between prosperity and justice. True prosperity is not just having wealth and riches, but having them in a just, ethical and sustainable way. The wealth mentioned here doesn't come from exploiting others, dishonesty or questionable shortcuts. It comes from consistent application of justice in all areas of life. When the psalm says that his righteousness endures forever, it's establishing that lasting prosperity has roots in integrity. Riches obtained through unjust means may bring temporary satisfaction, but don't produce the inner peace that characterizes true prosperity. Justice here encompasses various dimensions. Justice in business, treating customers and partners with honesty. Justice in relationships, being loyal and trustworthy. Social justice, caring about the welfare of the less fortunate. Justice with oneself, living according to your deepest values. This combination of wealth and justice creates sustainable prosperity. It's not built on foundations that can crumble with time, but on solid principles that strengthen with the years. It's prosperity that brings peace of mind because we know it was achieved the right way. Light dawns in the darkness for the upright. He is gracious, merciful, and righteous. This verse reveals something extraordinary about those who live according to the principles of Psalm 112. They have the ability to find light even in the darkest moments. Life inevitably presents us with challenges, losses, disappointments, and moments of uncertainty. These are the darkness mentioned in the psalm. But for those who have built their lives on solid foundations, this darkness is not the end of the story. It becomes opportunities for inner light to manifest with even greater intensity. The light that dawns in darkness is not an external light that suddenly appears, but an inner light that was always there, nourished by compassion, mercy, and righteousness. It's the light of wisdom that helps us find solutions where others see only problems. It's the light of faith that keeps us hopeful when circumstances seem hopeless. Compassion connects us with others, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles. Mercy allows us to forgive and move forward, not carrying resentments that weigh on our hearts. Righteousness gives us the certainty that we're doing our part to create a better world. When we start our day cultivating these qualities, we develop extraordinary resilience. Problems don't disappear magically, but our ability to deal with them multiplies. We find opportunities where others see only obstacles. It is well with the man who deals generously and lends. He will guide his affairs with justice. Here we discover one of the greatest secrets of prosperity. Generosity is not the enemy of abundance, but rather its greatest ally. The world often teaches us that to prosper we must accumulate, save, protect what we have. Psalm 112 reveals a counterintuitive truth. We prosper when we share, when we make ourselves available to help others, when we lend not only money, but also our time, knowledge, and resources. The compassion mentioned here is not just a feeling but an action. It's seeing the need of another and being moved to do something about it. When we cultivate this attitude, we create a network of relationships based on trust and mutual support. This network becomes a constant source of opportunities and support. Lending goes beyond financial transactions. It includes lending our experience to guide someone, lending our time to listen to a friend in difficulty, lending our influence to open doors for others. This generosity creates a positive cycle that always returns to us multiplied. Justice in affairs shows that generosity doesn't mean naivety. We can be compassionate and at the same time wise, generous and at the same time prudent. True prosperity requires balance, an open heart combined with an alert mind. Surely he will never be moved, the righteous will be remembered forever. This promise from Psalm 112 doesn't mean we will never face problems, but that we develop an inner stability that keeps us firm regardless of external circumstances. To be never moved refers to an emotional and spiritual stability that comes from knowing who we are and what we believe. When our identity and security are rooted in solid principles and not in changing circumstances, we develop unshakable confidence. This stability manifests in various practical ways. In business, we don't panic in the face of temporary fluctuations. In relationships, we're not destroyed by occasional conflicts. In finances, we don't make desperate decisions based on fear. We maintain a balanced perspective that allows us to make wise decisions even under pressure. The promise of being remembered forever speaks about the kind of legacy we leave. It's not necessarily about worldwide fame, but about the lasting positive impact our life has on others. When we live with integrity and purpose, we create memories and influences that remain long beyond our physical existence. He will not be afraid of bad news. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. His heart is steady. He will not be afraid until he looks in triumph on his adversaries. These verses show us how true prosperity enables us to face opposition and criticism with courage and serenity. Bad news is inevitable when we live a life of purpose. Not everyone will understand our choices, and some will even try to discourage or sabotage our progress. But when our heart is firm, these negative voices lose their power over us. The firmness of heart mentioned here is not stubbornness or arrogance, but a deep confidence based on solid foundations. It's the peace that comes from knowing we're following the right path, regardless of what others may say or think. This confidence allows us to keep our focus on our goals instead of wasting energy responding to every criticism or defending ourselves from every attack. We recognize that opposition is often a sign that we're on the right track, causing positive changes that disturb those who prefer the status quo. The promise to look in triumph on adversaries doesn't mean revenge, but the satisfaction of seeing truth prevail and right principles validated by time. It's the confidence that integrity always triumphs in the end, even when it seems to be losing in the moment. He has distributed freely, he has given to the poor, his righteousness endures forever, his horn is exalted in honor. Here we see how true prosperity works. It doesn't diminish when shared but multiplies. The verb distributed freely suggests a wide and generous distribution. It's not calculated charity or personal marketing, but genuine generosity that seeks to make a difference in others' lives. This attitude creates waves of positive impact that spread far beyond what we can see or measure. Giving to the poor is not limited only to those in difficult financial situations. It includes anyone who needs what we have to offer. Knowledge for those seeking to learn, encouragement for those who are discouraged, opportunities for those who need a chance, time for those who feel alone. The repetition that His righteousness endures forever reinforces that this generosity is not an isolated gesture, but a consistent way of living. It's a lifestyle based on justice, manifested through concrete actions of love and care for others. The horn that is exalted in honor is not power over others, but power to do good, to create.